Hello YouTube viewers, welcome back to my channel Sundays with Sam, where I share easy recipes with wholesome ingredients that the whole family can enjoy. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for a wholesome millet and chocolate pudding pie. It's very easy and quick to put together. You don't need an oven, it's a no-bake recipe. It is so decadent and chocolatey and delicious. It's the perfect recipe when you're craving something sweet but wholesome. So let's get started. In a pan, add 3/4 of a cup of oat flour and 2 tablespoons sunflower seeds. You want to dry roast these on a medium heat for about 5 to 7 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, the oats will start to turn color. Take them off the heat in another minute or two and then let it cool down a little bit. Just remember, the crispier your oats are, the better your crust is going to taste. Now to a mixie, add the oats, a teaspoon of flaxseed powder, 1 pitted medjool date, a 1/4 of a cup plus 1 tablespoon of almond butter, I'm using homemade, and about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm feeling a bit decadent today, so I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of jaggery along with a teaspoon of ghee. If you're vegan, just leave the ghee out and add in a little bit more almond butter. Now pulse this 2 to 3 times till it forms a crumbly, coarse mixture like this. You're not looking for a paste. I'm going to be using a 6-inch pie dish today, but if you don't have a pie dish, you can use either a silicone muffin cup like this or the top of a steel utensil, for example. So this is a little trick I learned online to be able to lift your pie up properly without any problems. I just folded 2 pieces of foil into elongated strips, and now I'm just going to place them at the bottom of the pie dish. Now just pour in your pie crust mixture onto the pie dish and use your hands to press it down with as much force as you can. The tighter you can press it, the more compact your pie crust is going to be. So that looks pretty good. Just set it aside in the refrigerator to bind a bit more while we get to work on the pie filling. For the pudding, in a saucepan, add a 1/4 cup of finger millet or ragi flour and a 1.5 tablespoons of raw cacao powder. We're going to dry roast this for 3 to 4 minutes or till the finger millet is fragrant and starts to release an aroma. The night before, I had soaked about a 1/4 cup of cashew nuts to make into cashew paste to add to the pudding. Now just add in 3/4 of a cup of any plant-based milk. Oat milk will work best because it's really going to help with that pudding-like consistency. Make sure your heat is turned down low and continue to stir and make sure that your pudding doesn't burn. This is a very important part of this recipe. After a few minutes of stirring, your pudding is going to reach this kind of a thick consistency. That's when you should add in the cashew paste to give it that much desired richness. Use a spatula to just gently fold it in, and all this time your heat needs to be turned down low. Now go ahead and add in about a teaspoon of flaxseed powder, and this is going to help to bind that pudding together even further. Next, I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of jaggery. You could also use raw sugar, coconut sugar, or any sweetener of your choice. I wouldn't recommend that you use a liquid sweetener because that could affect the consistency of the pudding. Keep stirring and cook it on low heat for a few minutes more till it reaches a thickness like this. Now take it off the heat and let it cool. Pudding needs to be completely cool before you lay it on the tart. And now just use your spatula like this to spoon on the pudding onto the pie crust. You can decorate it with fruit and then just put it in the fridge and forget about it for the next 5 to 6 hours or overnight. So I put it in the fridge overnight, and this is what it looks like the next morning, and unfortunately I forgot to cover the pie and it's got this dry crust on top of it. But that's okay. I'm just going to get rid of the blueberries and mix it up a little bit so that it looks fresh again. It really doesn't make much of a difference to the taste. Now I'm just going to use my 2 foil props to lift the pie right out of the pie dish, and as you can see, it comes off so easily. Just lift it off and pop it in a plate and then gently take the foil off the tart. So there you have it. The most decadent, rich, delicious and wholesome tart that you could ever ask for. It is so delicious and so chocolatey. You can binge on it completely guilt-free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Sundays with Sam.